Hello there, I'm Audrey Giles and welcome to my channel, my YouTube channel. I decided to make this video today because I am sick and tired of seeing so many people dying from chronic disease that could be prevented, could be avoided by preventative lifestyle, by taking control of your health. You know, 60% of adults in the United States have at least one chronic disease. That means 6 out of every 10 people have a chronic disease, heart disease, high blood pressure, cancer, stroke, diabetes. This does not have to be your destiny, but only you can decide whether this is going to be part of your future, whether a chronic disease will be part of your future. Once you make the decision to be proactive, then there are 3 things that you have to do. First, you have to take responsibility for your health. Don't wait to get sick to go to the doctor for them to give you medication to heal you. The doctor cannot heal you, only you can heal yourself. Number 2, be proactive. Be an advocate for your health. Begin to see what foods are good for you. The manufacturers are not interested in seeing you healthy. They are interested in making a profit. Number 3, be your own health detective. So if you have already been diagnosed with a chronic disease, do the research. Because when you go to your doctor will ask you what your symptoms are. They will give you medication to take care of the symptoms. They don't have time to dig deep and find out what the root cause of your problem is. And so they give you medicine. Those medicine comes with side effects. You go home, you take them, you have a side effect, you go back to your doctor, you tell them what the side effect is, and they give you more medicine to cover those side effects. So, you know, the problem goes on, and they are not really dealing with the root cause of your diagnosis. You know, over 400,000 people die in the United States on an annual basis because of medical errors. 400,000 people, okay? Now, you don't have to be part of that number. Again, I am not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. I'm just a woman who loves and is passionate about helping people to see that they deserve to live a healthy and fulfilling life. Don't shorten your purpose by shortening your life. You know, the cemetery is a gold mine of talent, wisdom, unfulfilled purpose, but this does not have to be our story. You know, I once heard a preacher say, we can't reach our full potential unless we take care of our bodies. And a diseased body prevents us from reaching our full potential and fulfilling our purpose. So my story began about a little over 30 years ago. I just want to give you a little bit of my story. In 1992, my father went for just a regular checkup, and he was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. Now, when my parents told me, I was completely devastated. My whole soul was screaming, no, not my dad, not my dad. Because at that time, I felt that when you get a diagnosis of cancer, it was definitely, you're gonna die, and you're gonna die soon. You know, for me, it was like I had no hope. So I prayed to God and I asked God, please don't let my dad die. And so I began to do research, reading books and reading about the various health situations that we could do about the diet and so on. And one day I walked into a Christian bookstore, and it was like this book just jumped off the shelf, jumped out at me. The name of the book was God's Way to Ultimate Health by Dr. George Malcolmus. And in the book, he talked about the fact that his mother had cancer, and he also had cancer. Now, his mother went the conventional route with the chemo and the radiation and the medication, and he decided he wanted to go a more functional route by using food to heal his condition. Now, his mother subsequently died, but he lived. And that gave me hope. So I wanted to find out what he did to survive cancer. And in his book, he talked about using food, using your diet to heal your body by basically eating more of a plant-based diet, 80% raw foods, 80% raw foods, 20% cooked foods, a lot of juicing, a lot of fruits and vegetables, and detoxing the body, staying away from processed foods, from dairy, and just making sure that he was actually nourishing his body instead of just feeding his body. There is a difference. And so I decided that, this was the way to go for my dad. We started him on a plant-based diet. He had the surgery. The surgery was successful, and he stayed on the plant-based diet for about a couple of years. And then he decided that, okay, now he's healed, and so he doesn't have to stay on the diet anymore. So he went back to his way of eating, and that was a lot of processed foods, a lot of foods containing sugar. He loves candy bar, and he would drink 2 to 3 cups of tea a day, and he would put in 6 packs of sugar, the little white packs of sugar. In the meantime, I developed a passion for learning how to use food to heal our body. And so I started, just delving into that, teaching it at my church and doing health fairs and health seminars at my church and various platforms. And about 5 years into this, after he was diagnosed with the cancer, and about 3 years after he was declared cancer-free, I found out that Dr. Malcolmus had a school in Shelby, North Carolina, and I could take a course of becoming a health minister. And so I did that. And the week that I took the course and came back, my parents called me and said I needed to come right away. I knew something was wrong. I took the course because I thought I would bring it back and teach my church family how to heal themselves using food, and not knowing that God prepared me, because when I came back, I had to use the very information that I found, that I learned in the course, to help my dad to live for another 10 years with cancer. And God is so good. I know this channel is going to be very informational for people who are suffering with that disease and other diseases. And so I want to share some of the knowledge that I've learned over the past 30 years. I am now in the latter part of my 60s, and I have learned over the years to follow the teachings of a plant-based diet, of alkalizing my body, of doing detoxes, 2 to 3 times a year. 30 years ago, after hearing that my dad had cancer, I made the decision that the buck stop here. And the reason why I did that was because my grandmother, who was an amputee because of diabetes, died of diabetes, okay? And then my father developed cancer. I decided that this would not be my story. You know, for so many of you, the time is now. Stop deciding and stop leaning on the medical industry to provide your healing. You have to be proactive, and you have to figure out what it's going to take to heal your body. This could be your new beginning. I switched 30 years ago to support my dad, and I have learned so much over the last 30 years that I decided that now is the time for me to share it. I don't want to go to my grave with all this information, all this knowledge, when someone could use the information. So I want you to like and subscribe to my channel. As I said before, I am not a doctor. I am not a nurse. I'm just a woman who's seen what lifestyle change can do for me. And I'm passionate about seeing you live your healthiest life by maximizing your full potential with no regrets. And so I'll be giving you tips. I'll be giving you information on food and diet. You know, we say knowledge is power, but knowledge only becomes powerful when we apply that knowledge. I will be sharing the information with you, and it will be up to you to apply that knowledge. One of the biggest reasons why we have poor health is because of our diet. And we're going to be talking a lot about our diet. But I found that one of the biggest obstacles, you know, through my seminars and through just teaching this information that I've learned, is that the willingness of people to change their mindset. They wait until they are diagnosed with a chronic disease, and then that's the time when they want to change their mindset. And sometimes it is too late. Don't be one of those people who find out that it is too late. You know, the Bible tells us in Romans 12:2, reading from the NIV version, it says, "Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." You know, God is a mind regulator, okay? It continues to say, "Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." One of the ways that we conform to this world is by eating the highly processed foods that they provide for us. And because the highly processed foods contain sugar and sodium, which is detrimental for our health, those are two of the things why we get chronic disease. I was listening to a doctor that talked about we have more than 600,000 food products, not foods, food products, meaning processed foods, boxes, foods that come in boxes, cans, bags, okay? And 80% of this 600,000 food products have added sugar. And on an average, we eat about a pound of sugar a day. Just to give you a little example, one soda will wipe out your immune system, will wipe out 1/3 of your immune system for the day. It has about 11 to 12 teaspoons of sugar in it. If you drink 3 sodas for the day, it will completely wipe out your immune system for that day, which leaves you open to any chronic, any viruses that is floating by from that sugar. Now, if you begin, just start to read the labels on your food products. Anything that has high fructose corn syrup in it is detrimental. It is so bad for your health. It is so bad for your health. High fructose corn syrup, my husband says high fructose corn syrup is sugar on steroids, okay? Sugar on steroids. And that just gives you an example how bad that sugar is. And the makers, the manufacturers of high fructose corn syrup put it in foods because it's so much cheaper, okay? It's cheaper, they use less, but it is more addictive. And they know that people is beginning to realize this, so they're beginning to change the name. So instead of high fructose corn syrup, you will see fructose isolates, you will see maize syrup, you will see tapioca syrup, you will see isoglucose. Change the name of the sugar. Now, when you eat a piece of fruit, you have the fiber in the fruit, okay? And the sugar is different. So that is just one thing that you can use, you can change in your diet to help prevent these chronic diseases. So I will be bringing tips for you on a weekly basis. I will be bringing information to you. So make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Again, I am Audrey Giles. You can find me on Instagram under Audrey Clarke Giles. You can find my podcasts on Spotify. You can find it on Apple. You can find them on Google. I do have a website. It is theholisticstrategies.com. And you can also find me on TikTok under Audrey.Giles. So stay tuned. Remember to like and subscribe. So to your best health, this is Audrey Giles, and I will see you soon.